Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So this is a quick post-fight review for Pavel Silyagin versus Azizbek Abdugofurov. This fight took place on the Artur Beterbiev versus Adam Dinez undercard, and yeah, it was contested at 168. Pavel Silyagin won this fight by a lopsided unanimous decision, and rightly so. He completely outboxed, outfoxed and beat up Azizbek in a one-sided fight, quite frankly. This fight actually was for the WBC Silver Super Middleweight title. Going into this fight, both guys were unbeaten prospects. Silyagin was 6-0 and Azizbek was 13-0. And actually, Azizbek was quite highly ranked in the WBC. In fact, at one point, there was talks of Azizbek fighting Avni Yildirim for the vacant WBC Super Middleweight title. That obviously never happened, and he took this fight and he got beat up. Very good performance by Pavel Silyagin. In my opinion, in this fight, at a push, you could argue Azizbek won one round, but apart from that, he basically got beat up and he got outboxed. I was quite impressed with what I saw from Pavel Silyagin. I said on my community post earlier this week, watch out for this kid because he is something worth looking at. He's an extremely awkward fighter at 168. He's a switch hitter that can move. He's comfortable out of both stances. Very good combination puncher. His punch technique in general is pretty good. Good reaction times, good head movement, good upper body movement. In general, he's a very athletic fighter. In the first 2, 3, 4 rounds, Pavel Silyagin was switching between stances, popping Azizbek with the jab and the 1-2. He was also throwing the 1-2-1 combination, which looked very similar to the way Sergey Kovalev threw that combination. He was picking single body shots as well. He was basically just picking his spots and he was picking some really good shots. Azizbek was trying to apply pressure behind a guard. He was throwing overhand shots. Occasionally he would connect, but those shots really didn't affect Pavel Silyagin in any way. And as this fight went on, Pavel Silyagin upped the work rate. He started to sit down on a few more of his punches, and he started to really dissect Azizbek as this fight went on. He was throwing some really nice combinations. He was busting the face of Azizbek up, he was becoming bloodier and bloodier as the fight went on. And yeah, basically it was one-way traffic. Like I say, Azizbek kept on trying. He was, showed great heart, great determination, great toughness. But really, he was second best every single round. In the 8th round, he had a moment of success when he caught Silyagin with an overhand right. I believe that was when Silyagin was in the southpaw stance and his hands were low. He caught Silyagin with the overhand right. Silyagin reacted a little bit, but I don't think he was hurt. I think it's because Silyagin is so awkward. It kind of appeared that he was hurt, but to me he didn't look hurt, to be honest. But yeah, in the 8th round, Azizbek landed a good overhand right, but again, to me it wasn't that effective. And after that, Silyagin resumed his thing, started to box, started to move, and he took control of where he left off. And actually in the last round, this fight was won for Silyagin, but Silyagin still went for the knockout, started to apply a bit more pressure, landing some good combinations to body and head, and he went for the knockout in round 12, but Azizbek was just too tough to get out of there. But all in all, very good performance by Pavel Silyagin. He now moves to 7-0 with 4 knockouts, and I think he's a good prospect at 168. He's got a very weird style. He looks extremely ungainly and extremely awkward when he moves. He's got weird body mechanics, but at the same time he looks extremely comfortable in his style, in his stance. It's very weird when you watch this guy fight. Stylistically, it's hard to really explain what he does, to be honest with you. It's hard to put it into words, but his movement, the way he kind of switches stances reminds me a little bit of James DeGale. His straight punches, the way he throws his straight punches is reminiscent of Sergey Kovalev, minus the power. I'm not saying Silyagin can't punch, but he's not a massive puncher. And, the upper body movement and the herky-jerky nature of his style is a little reminiscent of Dmitry Pirog back in the day. He's got a really weird mesh of styles and looks in there. Very awkward guy, very interesting style. it looks ungainly, but at the same time, it's hard to explain. He looks ungainly, but at the same time, it looks very aesthetically pleasing. I can't put it into words. The guy's style is extremely weird, but he makes it work for himself. That obviously suits his body mechanics. That's comfortable for him, so that's the way he fights. But very interesting boxer, Pavel Silyagin. Like I say, he's comfortable out of both stances. To me, he seems naturally ambidextrous, and yeah, definitely a guy worth looking out for in the future. And after this fight, because he won the WBC Silver Super Middleweight title, he's going to get a good ranking in the WBC, so expect to hear more from this guy in the future. Definitely a good prospect at 168. If you've not seen this guy fight, I do recommend you check him out. How far this guy goes, I'm not sure, to be honest, but he's definitely a good prospect, and a lot of guys are going to find his style extremely awkward to deal with. He's got his flaws, don't get me wrong. Sometimes he gets a little greedy when he throws his combinations, and he'll stay in front of you a little too long, and he'll get caught, as we saw in this fight a couple of times. I would like to see him keep his hands up a little more. He's got a very wide guard when he does have his hands up. I'd like to see him tighten up a little bit, but, good prospect. Good prospect. But share your thoughts below. What did you make of this fight if you saw it? Peace.